Welcome back again. Brad here. It's good to be back. I haven't been making that many videos in February, but I have been reading a lot in February, so I hope that makes up for it. This is going to be a very interesting episode because in this video I'm going to talk about the books that I've read in February 2022. I've done one in January and I'm going to do this every month until December. My goal is to read 3 books every month, as my goal is to read 36 books again in 2022. And my 3 books were 2 audiobooks. One was My Inventions, the autobiography from Nikola Tesla. The second book was The Gladiator Mindset from Adam Peat, which was an Olympic gold medal winner in swimming. I think it was 200 meters. And then the third book was Traveling Without John. Unfortunately, it's only a Dutch book, but it's very interesting and I'll just talk about it in English because I think it's a great book and I really have some things I want to say about it as well, because I've already talked about These Truths from Jill Lepore, the book to the left of it, and that was such an interesting book. And together with these 2 different perspectives about America, that's something I really want to talk about in this video as well. So without further ado, I'm just going to start talking about the first book and give it a rating. First book, My Inventions from Nikola Tesla. First of all, it's a very short book. It's not a thick book. It's just Nikola Tesla who talks about a little bit about his mindset, where he's from, what he has done, and he tries to rationalize a little bit what's been going on, how he thinks, how he is, and that was very, very interesting for me to see. I would say one negative thing about the book is Nikola Tesla just talks a lot about himself. So when you read a book, you're like, okay, man, I get it. You're very, you're intelligent. You invented a lot of great stuff. That's cool. But on the other hand, how he describes how he can put a machine together in his mind. He doesn't draw anything. He's just putting it together one piece by one piece and seeing if the whole machine could work. Just by doing that, instead of actually making it beforehand, he could already get rid of so many mistakes, because he could literally step by step, at least that's what he says, understand what was going on before even actually building it. That to me is so interesting. I mean, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but just to think about that, that's very, very impressive. So I really recommend the book because it's short, it's very informative, and if you're interested a little bit in how these people think or how they thought, then just go for it. It's a short read and I learned a lot from it. So I'll give that a 3 out of 5, just because I think that it's not that interesting, the whole book. You're really reading about the life of someone, for me, who has nothing to do with what I'm doing at all. But again, there are some interesting parts in it where I'm like, okay, this is definitely worth reading. It's not a 5 out of 5, but it's worth reading the book. Then The Gladiator Mindset from Adam Peat, or Adam Peaty. I don't know about that one. That was the moment where I decided, okay, I'm not gonna read any more self-help books whatsoever. First of all, disclaimer, I don't like the word or the category self-help book, because it kind of leans towards this idea that, you're not able to help yourself, or that it's really gonna help you. I don't know about that one. I think life philosophy is really a way better word for it than self-help books. Especially because if I tell people that I read self-help books, they just think I'm crazy, for example. And I actually think that reading self-help books is beneficial for anyone. Doesn't matter if you have already everything figured out or if you are in a very dark place in your life. I think everyone can benefit from it to a certain extent. And I'm pretty sure I've reached this point where, those books, they're all just telling the same thing right now. One thing I do want to say is be careful when you are online, because right now it's very easy to find self-help or motivational books or things like that. But one thing I really, really see and really feel that is that a lot of people who have not achieved anything yet in life are gonna tell people what to do and what to change in their life, and I just 100% disagree with that. I think that the only people who might want to have a say in how you could change your life are people who are old and have actually already done everything. For example, now that I've read so many self-help books, there's no way that I could actually advise people on what to do, because I'm only 22. There's basically nothing that I've achieved yet, so there's nothing I should tell people what to do. That's just my opinion. I think that today people see there's a market for these kind of products where people need motivation, need motivation, and they just give it to them. So just that as a little bit of a background. I think it's important to keep in mind when you read self-help books. And I still want to say that self-help books, I think, can be very beneficial if you read the right ones from people who've actually already done a lot. In the end, every human is different. I'm not the same as you are. You're not the same as your neighbor. We're all very different. We work very differently. You should always keep that in mind when you read these kind of books. Then it doesn't mean that it has to work for you. Let's now move on to the best book, the most amazing book where I actually have to say the most about it, which is Traveling Without John from Geert Mak. This book was absolutely amazing. I loved it. It was a very thick book, so it took me a long while to read it, but it was truly amazing. First of all, John Steinbeck, very famous American writer, did a tour through or across the whole of the United States in 1960. So this journalist did the same tour 50 years later, and he tried to go through the diary of John Steinbeck and actually see what cities he's visited, where he stayed, and talk to the same people wherever that was possible and see what has changed. And this was just truly amazing because I've read this other book from Jill Lepore called These Truths, which is really a political history book about the United States. So it talks a lot about, political movements, social political movements, presidents, what they've done, what they did wrong, what they did right, everything around that perspective. But this book from John or Geert Mak is completely different. It's really looking at, okay, you have this town, there were this people, literally this has changed. There were shops like this, they completely changed to different kind of shops. The mentality of the people, they said that 50 years ago it was really like a true community where everyone was involved with everyone and everyone helped each other out when it was needed, to a community of a very individualistic kind where no one helped each other anymore. And beautiful cities that prospered through manual labor that completely got wiped off the earth because of automatic processes for factories and everything. Take Detroit as an example, which was one of the biggest cities in America and one of the biggest employers in America for car manufacturers. There were so many car factories in Detroit. And then the moment everything got like automized, all the processes, now it's the biggest crime city basically in the whole of the United States, and the population declined by 25% in 5 years or something. It's like these complete contrasts within the own city. And then Geert Mak talks about what happened in New Orleans when the dikes broke and that there was a big flood through the city, and how George Bush basically staged that they were helping on national television only to like remove everything the next day. It was just a big television show and people were just sitting on their roofs for a whole week before they were getting rescued. It was crazy just to read about this stuff. And yeah, you really get an idea of what America is and what changed. That was truly amazing, and I'm actually gonna make a separate video about this because I think there's so much to talk about, but I don't want to make this video 20 minutes. But these were the 3 books that I read. First of all, My Invention of Nikola Tesla, 3 out of 5. The Gladiator Mindset from Adam Peaty. I personally am gonna give it a 2 out of 5. I think I'm very biased because maybe if it was my first self-help book, it might have been amazing. But since it's basically my last, I just cannot give it a great rating. It was just boring. I think I felt it was too personal for him and it wasn't really that general. I don't know, 2 out of 5, just gonna say it. And then Traveling Without John, I'm really gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I think Geert Mak did such a great job on trying to really do the same thing as John Steinbeck did 50 years ago. He did so much research for the book, so much research. He tried to put a very nice narrative in the whole book. It was truly amazing. I'm very happy that I read it, and I'm gonna read it again because I think there's still so much in there that I might have missed. Next month, I am reading already a little bit of books for March since I'm recording this a little bit late. And what I'm reading right now is the 48 Laws of Power from Brian Greene, I think it is. Very interesting book, lots to say about it as well, lots of negative things as well, but lots of positives as well. I am reading Think and Grow Rich again from Napoleon Hill. Mind you, again, I still have to pick my third book. I just ordered Digital Minimalism from Cal Newport, I think. And I'm so excited to read that book next week because it's a book about someone who's coaching how to get into digital minimalism. And he's describing how certain news media completely changed our mind. Lately, I've also been less on Instagram because I'm struggling a little bit with a lot of social media platforms, and I think that it's literally changing the way that we think. And I want to get rid of that a little bit. So I've been less active on it, and I can't wait to read the book Digital Minimalism because I still think that social media feedback can be a great thing, but I just think that we spend too much time on it and we compare ourselves with people too much on it. So yeah, that is that. I don't want to hold you here hostage any longer. So now you know the 3 books I've got to read, the 3 books I've read, and I can't wait to see you in March with new videos. As always, stay positive, be happy, Fred out. Oh yeah, and also please like and subscribe.